Shabbat Shalom to all of our Kolamites, to all of our guests of every gender, and to all the ships at sea. This is Rabbi Jeff Dennis coming to you from the Supernal Circle of Light at Congregation Kolami as we celebrate our Shabbat service. We're going to welcome our Shabbat, as we do every week, with a little music, a little nigun. I know it feels self-conscious, maybe not to be singing with everyone else, but just think of yourself as standing in your shower. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin with a nigun.
La 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 la.
And as is our custom here at Congregation Kolami, we like to begin with Tov Uvracha, good and blessing that's happening within our community. And at a time like this, when so many of us are isolated and cut off from each other, it seems all the more important for us to be aware of what's happening with our fellow Jews and our fellow congregants. I invite you, if you have a good and blessing that you want to share from what's happened in the past week, it can be something great, it can be something glorious, or it can be something very, very simple. But please feel free to use the chat line on Zoom and share with us something good that's going on in your life. Things that are happening immediately around us, the first thing I want to call your attention to, of course, is our wonderful soloist, Lindsay Lev. But also, we do have a minyan here in the Kolami space, socially distanced, but they allow us to fulfill the obligation of having a minyan. They come out to do this, and we are grateful to Harold Harris and to Don and Helena Dawsey and Samson and Casey Flassbaum, right? No, Flackbaum? No. Flounceboum. Okay, I'll keep working on that. I will. And of course, Bob and Becky Leonard and Fred Miller. And tonight we're delighted to include in our minyan Mitch and Suzanne Albin. So, and more about them in just a little bit. On top of all of that, we want to think about all of the birthdays that are happening this week. We've got Simone Armon, we've got Rachel Cohen-Miller and Robert Elfont, Richard Golden, Melissa Hart, Koki Ring, and Jackie Wade. All of them have a birthday this week, so we want to wish them all a happy birthday. For anniversaries, these couples are celebrating their anniversary in the past week. We've got Andrew and Sherry Berman, Bruce Bond and Nikki Cohen, Mark and Deborah Cohen, Wayne and Jennifer Goldberg, Harold and Adrian Harris, Graham and Brandy Hunter, and Frank and Elizabeth Morphus. Do we have any other good and blessing to announce? Yes. All right. Becky is hearing that she's going to be able to bring her people back in person starting in July, I guess. All right. Bob, did you have something?
Melissa Hart's brother-in-law came home from the hospital and has a plan for healing.
Oh, that's wonderful. So Melissa Hart's brother-in-law has returned from the hospital. Who else? Let's see. Samson.
So a few weeks ago, we hired an apprentice that's been learning from me at my shop, and I decided today that he could do it himself.
All right. So Samson has been helping an apprentice, mentoring, and that's fantastic. And how about for you, Casey?
It's actually from Meredith and Art. They are grateful for safe travels to and from Colorado, a good visit with dad and brother, and they're also grateful for good care from Medical City Denton and better health from Meredith.
All right. Yes, it's been a bit of an epic journey for good and challenge for the Nuria family, and they had a great trip to Colorado, and then things got a little out of control. But Meredith is doing great, and we are so thrilled to hear that she's thriving after a pretty big medical scare at the time. So wishing the best for all of you. Harold has something. All right. So, right. So the Adrian and Harold show has been going on for 52 seasons, and they are delighted to be able to celebrate. Anything else?
Lisa and Charles Paley have an anniversary today.
All right. Lisa and Charles, Dr. Paley and Lisa are celebrating an anniversary this very day. So wonderful news. For me, I had the excitement of an old-timey mikveh this week, used an actual lake of living water for a mikveh, but more about that later. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to kindle the lights of Shabbat. And on this occasion, I'm going to invite back our president, Becky Leonard, to kindle our Shabbos lights.
We're on page 1. In the beginning, when the Spirit of God hovered over the darkness, God's first creation was light. As we kindle these Shabbat lights, we attest to the majesty of God's work and rejoice in its beauty. Light is a symbol of divinity and creative goodness. It is the outward sign of that inner spark which God has granted each of us. In hope and with love, we now welcome Shabbat with light.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We read responsibly. Praise are you, Adonai, whose presence fills the world, who hallows us with mitzvot and inspires us to kindle Shabbat lights.
May God bless us with Shabbat joy. May God bless us with Shabbat holiness. May God bless us with Shabbat peace. Amen. We're short our number 2 cameraman today, so be patient with us. Poor Bob has extra duties to do. So we're going to begin our Kabbalat Shabbat today with Psalm 97 on page 4, or Zoruach Letzadik. Let there be light for the righteous and the upright of heart. Psalm 97. Adonai reigns, let the land exult and the many islands rejoice. Dense clouds surround God. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of God's throne. God's lightning illumines the world, and light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright of heart. O you who are righteous, rejoice in Adonai and acclaim God's holy name. We're going to take a moment and shift gears from where we normally would be because our theme is about nature tonight. We're going to flip to page 8, Psalm 92. And on the middle of the page, we're going to sing Sadik Katamar Yifrach. The righteous shall bloom like a palm. They shall thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Sadik Katamar, page 8.
יפרח, צדיק התמר יפרח, צדיק התמר יפרח, יפרח, צדיק התמר יפרח, כארץ בלבנון ישקה, כארץ בלבנון ישקה, כארץ בלבנון ישקה, ישקה. כארץ בלבנון ישקה, כארץ בלבנון ישקה, כארץ בלבנון ישקה, ישקה.
And now I invite you back to page 6 in Psalm 29. Ascribe to Adonai, you children of God. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name, and worship Adonai in the beauty of holiness. May Adonai give strength to this people. May Adonai bless this people with peace. And now, as is our custom here at Kol Ami, we welcome the Sabbath into our midst with the great mystical poem, Lecha Dodi. It's going to be on page 7 for those who have the prayer book available to them. Lecha Dodi, come, my friend, let us welcome the beautiful bride.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat להובן אלך, כי היא מקור הברכה, מהירוש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nekabela. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, bnei Shabbat nekabela. רועי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצור עולה, תוך אמוני
only God caused us to hear in a single utterance. Adonai is one, and God's name is one, for renowned and glory and praise. So come, let us go meet Shabbat, source of blessing. So come in peace, you crown of your husband, with rejoicing and with joy, to those who are faithful, a treasured people. Come, O Shabbat, come, O bride, into our midst. We continue now on page 9 with the Hatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
בעלמא יברא הירותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ורומם וינשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל, שמי קדושה ברכו. לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, נמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן.
Again, if able, please rise as we begin the formal service for this night. And now, having summoned ourselves together as a community with our God, we acknowledge those qualities of God that we most appreciate. God as the creator of the world, God as the giver of the Torah, and God who comes to our aid in times of distress. And so we begin with the Ma'ariv Aruvim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aruvim. בחוכמה פותח שערים, ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים, במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aruvim. Praised are you, Adonai, who makes the evening fall. And unending is your love for the people, the house of Israel, Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts you have taught us. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and rejoice in your Torah and mitzvot forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life and the length of our days. And then your love shall never depart from our hearts. Blessed is Adonai, who loves this people Israel.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, לכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
We also testify, true and enduring, beloved and precious, awesome, good and beautiful is this eternal teaching. This truth we hold to be forever certain. Adonai is our ruler, the rock of Jacob, the shield of our salvation. Adonai, our God, you redeemed us from the land of Egypt. You set us free from the house of bondage. For this, the people who felt your love sang songs of praise to you. Living God, high and exalted, mighty and awesome, who humbles the proud and raises the lowly, who frees the captive and redeems the oppressed, who is the answer to all who cry out for help. All praise to God Most High, the source of blessing, and like Moses and Israel, we sing this ancient song of rejoicing, Micha Mocha. We come now to Hashkivenu. Some Jews may find this comforting, others a little bit unsettling, but we believe that no Jew goes to bed alone each and every night. And so when we say our prayers for a restful night, we say them in the first person plural, we. Hashkivenu, grant that we lie down in peace, Adonai our God, and raise us up, O sovereign, tomorrow to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace, guide us with your good counsel, and for your namesake be our help. Shield us from hatred and plague, keep us from war, famine, and anguish. Subdue our inclination to evil. O God, our guardian and helper, our gracious and merciful sovereign, give us refuge in the shadow of your wings. O guard our coming and our going, that always we have life and peace. We praise you, O God, whose sukkah of peace is spread over us, over all your people, and over Jerusalem. We come now to the next part of our service, tefillah. If you're comfortable doing so, please rise.
Adonai, שפתי תפתחו פיה תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Hasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zoher Hasdeavot v'Imahot, U'mevii Geula livnei b'neihem, Leman Shemo v'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezra Sara. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mehayei hakol atara v'Moshiach. Mechakel chaim b'chesed, Mechayei hakol v'rachamim rabim. Tomech noflim v'rofei cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato l'shenei afar. Michamocha ba'al gevurot, u'midom elav, belech memit u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman natan ha'ayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעלו הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. And now, having acknowledged God as the God of our people across generations, a God of strength, a God of holiness, we now pause to celebrate the greatest of all God's blessings to the Jewish people, the Shabbat, the Sabbath. And so we're going to go to page 21. Many of you know this song, Yismechu v'malachutecha. Those who keep the Sabbath and call it delight shall rejoice in your kingdom forever.
ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. מקדשי שביעי שבת, כולם יצבעו ויתענגו בטובי השבת. ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ובשביעי רצית בו וקדשו שבת. עמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת
we conclude this part of our service with three more thoughts: a thanksgiving and two petitions, a petition for acceptance and a petition for peace. Right, say, Adonai, our God, show favor to your people Israel and lovingly receive our prayers. May this worship of your people Israel always be acceptable to you, for you alone do we hold in reverence. And we give thanks to you, Adonai, our God, God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our lives, the shield of our salvation in every generation. We thank you and we praise and we recite your praises. Let all the living affirm you and praise your name as the God of our salvation and help. Praised are you, Adonai. Goodness is your name. All praises to you. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha lacha nehe lechodot. And finally, we're going to close out with a prayer for peace, Shalom Rav. After that, we're just going to take a few moments to make our own offerings of our hearts and minds, and then we'll close out once again with words of peace.
Shalom Raf al Israel hatasim leolam. Shalom Raf al Israel hatasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adam lehol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adam לכל השלום